Palumbo here with an RX Muscle news update. This coming weekend, the Tampa Pro is here. I can't believe we're in August actually already, but yes we are. And this used to be the last show of the year prior to the Olympia, or the last qualifier of the year. It's no longer that, but it's still one of the top shows of the year, especially given the fact that we're in COVID times where everything kind of got pushed back. The show started late. This is an important show for a lot of bodybuilders out there who are trying to qualify for the Mr. Olympia competition. And it's a stacked lineup. And that's what we like to see when we're talking about good shows. Here's the list that's been put up on the IFBB Pro website. Noticeably missing from that list is Ruli Winkler. I have to assume he's not doing Tampa, and he's probably saving it for the Spain show, I think the following week. But we have a stacked lineup here with that's going to probably be featured by Iain Valliere, I'd have to assume. I've been a very big fan of Iain's physique ever since he turned pro at the Amateur Olympia Latin America back in Acapulco, which I was actually at. I remember when I first saw him for the first time, I said, this guy's got a great structure. If he adds muscle to this thing, he's going to be a dangerous, dangerous competitor. He's got a ton of muscle, a ton of conditioned muscle, and that's what we like to see. We like to see big frames on our overall winners. And Iain's got all the bells and whistles. Last year, I think it was more of a confidence issue with him. This year, I think he's going to bring it. I think he's going to own that stage. And I think he's going to be very difficult to beat for a number of factors. He's always in shape, number one. Number two, he's got, if not the most muscle, the best placed muscle on his body of any other competitor in that stage. He's put together really well with a small waist. He's got a lot of wow to his physique. And if he can show it off and own that stage, I think he walks away with an easy victory here. But there's a lot of guys in this lineup who can certainly move in and steal this victory from Iain if he's off. One of those guys that I really am very high on, and he may impress me a lot this year already, hopefully he's still feeling fresh, would be Shaaban. And this guy's got tremendous legs. He's got a good back. He's got a lot of bells and whistles too. When you look at him, you say, wow, this guy has got an impressive physique. The question is, will he dial it in 100%? If he does, I think Iain's going to have problems with him because he's denser, he's more compact, he doesn't have gaps in his physique at all, and he's got a lot of wow as well. So this should be a really good lineup between these two guys. Obviously, Shaaban placed second behind Hunter Labrada 2 weeks ago in Chicago, so this guy has got to be considered, one of the front runners here as well. And he's got a nice little momentum push behind him. One of the freakiest guys in this lineup, who maybe doesn't get enough love, is Charles Griffin. Here's a guy, when he brings it, he's got a lot of freaky mass on his body. He's been improving every single year we've seen him up on that stage. He gets better and better. And you know what? If I'm a competitor, I don't want to stand next to this guy because he's got so much density on his body and so much thick muscle that if he's in shape, he will be very, very difficult to beat. Now that's Maxx Charles we're looking at right here, but I'm talking about Charles Griffin, who happens to be, like I said, probably one of the most underrated pros on the circuit right now. And there's a good reason he is, because, he doesn't go out there and put himself out there. He's not a social media, fanatic. He just brings it every single time he comes to the stage, and he improves every single time he comes out. And that's what we want to see in a guy when you come back to the stage. The judges don't want to see someone bring the same thing they brought last year. They want to see changes in their physique. He's at a point now where he's got so much freaky mass on that upper body, from the delts and the pecs and the arms, that in any position he puts his body in, he looks like an absolute freak show. I mean, look at the side chest shot. Just crazy. Those arms are ridiculous. And this is a guy who kind of reminds me almost like a Ronnie Coleman in the sense that he's improving so much every single year. I don't even know what his upper limit is at this point. I don't know if he knows what his upper limit is, and maybe he shouldn't even think about that. Shoot for the stars, because I think he can be a guy who comes in here and absolutely wins this show if everyone's not perfect and he comes in at his best. We just saw Maxx Charles before. We can go back to Maxx Charles. Max has got probably the best upper body in the lineup. I mean, when he's on, he's on. He's got a great back, he's got delts, he's got arms, he's got a small waist. He's got the bells and whistles, and from behind he's very dominant. His problem obviously has always been the fact that he can't get those legs to look as great as his upper body, but they're not weak anymore. They're not a great body part, they're a good body part. They're in shape. We saw him in Chicago. He was third there. He was in shape. He had separation in his legs. That's what he needed. Some people felt he should have been higher. Some people felt he shouldn't have been that high. I think he was placed right where he needed to be. I wouldn't have had a problem with him being second place there. He's a guy you got to watch out for in this lineup because of the size and freakiness he does bring to the table. Now, having mentioned all those guys, there's a lot of good guys in this lineup, and I can go over, I could talk about this lineup forever. I mean, you got Joel Thomas, who's always dangerous if he's going to bring it. Justin Mackey, who's got a great physique. Dorian Haywood, who will definitely be in that top 5. He has got mass, he's got freakiness, he brings conditioning. Not the best shape in the lineup, but he's dangerous as well. Phil Klahar, who I've worked with in the past, tremendous amount of dangerous muscle too, because he's put together well, he flows well, he's got freaky muscle. When he's in shape, he's very dangerous as well. I think with my dark horse in this lineup, just because people don't really know him, is Big Bundy. Big Bad Bundy. If you go to his, if you've seen his Instagram, Jephte Cherenfant, he is about 280 pounds. You're going to see him on its stage. He's over 6 foot. He's got a lot of freaky mass and muscle. He's put together very well. This is his pro debut. I know he works with Guru Amin, and I haven't really, I've been getting some sneak peeks. I think he could surprise a lot of people. I don't know if he's going to come here and win the show, but I certainly think he has a shot at the top 5 here, and I think that if you talk about a dark horse in this lineup, he might be that guy. So, super exciting lineup here going into Tampa. Once again, Tim Gardner running this show and always putting on a very professional show and rolling out the red carpet for the athlete. That's what it's all about. We have a terrific 212 class here too that, man, I can go another hour and talk about those guys between Guy Cisternino in that lineup and, my client, Kareth Baggio, who looks amazing in this lineup here. We're going to see, a real battle in the 212. John Jewett, he's like the newest guy who's always in condition. I mean, this guy is never out of shape. You got Bo Lewis in this lineup as well. I don't think, and Aaron Clark coming back, you don't even know who could be the guy who's going to emerge here because there's so many good guys. There's at least 5 to 6 guys that could win this show, depending on how they show up and how everyone else shows up. So the Tampa show this weekend will be one that I will be home glued to my set watching. Unfortunately, I won't be up there. I'm still self-secluding myself, but until all this blows over, if it ever does. But I'm excited. As a fan of the sport, this is going to be a great show. All the divisions are stacked, filled to the hilt, and I know it's going to be a great show, and I hope you guys tune in to watch it. We'll be analyzing it, breaking it down, and giving you guys our insight the entire weekend long. For now, I'm Dave Palumbo with an RX Muscle exclusive news update.